Good morning, Carmel. I'm Bridget Call. It's 8:03. Breaking news. A manhunt in Lewiston, Maine is underway after a deadly shooting shook the city. At least 16 people were killed late Wednesday and dozens more were injured. Law officials are searching for the suspect, Robert Card, who is said to be armed and dangerous. He was last seen going north from Portland, Maine. The Reach Center will not be open today or after school today or Friday this week, but it will be open during all lunch waves. If you need any help today or tomorrow, please be sure to come by during your lunch wave to work with a tutor. If you're going to be a first-generation college student who would like to get a head start looking at colleges and universities, please contact Mrs. Fitzpatrick at afitzpatrick@carmelhs.org. The definition of a first-gen student varies, but can be someone whose parents started college but did not complete a four-year degree. If you have any questions about whether you are a first-generation college student, just ask. There's a planned visit to Loyola University on Thursday, October 2nd, which you are invited to. Space is limited, so contact Mrs. Fitzpatrick for more information. Next up on CDN News, a video with Mr. Waddle, Liam Brown with sports, and Father Christian with Mr. Franklin.
So I first started thinking about teaching as a career when I was a junior in high school and I began tutoring friends in chemistry and math. When I got to college, I was still doing tutoring in those subjects as well as English, but I also knew I wanted to go to law school. And so for me, teaching was something that I had planned to do sort of eventually. I was going to semi-retire and become a teacher as if what we do isn't a ton of work. Ultimately, I went to law school, graduated. I practiced for about 4 years doing probate law. I was just in a bad situation, an unhealthy relationship with my boss, the principal attorney at the firm. And when my dad passed away in the September of 2012, I sort of took it as an opportunity to re-examine what I was doing. I was waking up miserable every morning for work, and I just didn't want that anymore. Ultimately, my wife sort of supported my decision to go back to school. So I went back to school. I got my teaching license and my master's in teaching from National Louis University, and I did my student teaching here at Carmel in the spring of 2014, and I've been here ever since. So to me, teaching is an opportunity to mold the future. And I know that that's a cheesy answer, but if I could take it from a selfish perspective, I know that the students that I have the opportunity to teach at Carmel are going to go on and do great things. The fact that I can play some small part in that I can make them more critical of the world around them, more aware of the world around them, and influence them in some little way, means that selfishly I get to take a little bit of credit for the awesome things that they're going to do as they get older. So truly, I believe that the work that we do as teachers is making the world a better place, but doing it on such a grand scale, because every life we touch, ultimately, we get to take a little bit of credit for that and the work that they do making the world a better place.
Welcome back. After defeating Wakanda, the Corsairs volleyball team will face Lakes tonight in the Salve, set to start at 6 o'clock. Cross-country team will head down to Woodstock on Saturday and Monday for their sectional race. And looking ahead to some national sports, the Bulls fell last night to the Thunder by 20 in their home opener. They'll have Toronto come down to them tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And tomorrow also at 5 o'clock, the Hawks are going to head to Vegas to see the undefeated Golden Knights after falling 3-0 to Boston. Hawks looking to get their third win on the season. And now, looking over to cross country, we're joined by Sydney Kirchmerrick and Izzy Bing. So, Izzy, you said you went and saw the state course earlier this week?
Yeah, I went down to Woodstock yesterday. It's a pretty hilly course, but overall it wasn't too muddy, so hopefully it stays like that.
Okay, so how was your regionals races?
It went really well. Our team placed 4th overall, and we had some really good individual performances.
So you guys have sectionals this weekend. How do you look to doing those?
So obviously, hopefully our team can possibly qualify for state, but if not, then hopefully we'll have a few individual qualifiers. That'd be the best thing.
So Cindy, how has the team come together? Obviously, Izzy just said you want to all qualify for state, obviously.
I just think that we've been training since June. We've all been working really hard. We've been having some team bonding. I think we're having a little get together this Friday right before the meet. So yeah, we're really coming together. We're kind of like a family on this team. So
They're going to head down to Woodstock over the weekend, and up next is Father Christian with Mr. Franklin.
Welcome back, CDN, or Carmel. We're at CDN News at 8. It is 8:09. Today, again, we're going to talk about what's going on in Israel and the church's response to it. And I've got Father Christian here today. The Washington Post is reporting that some grave kind of statements from the Prime Minister Netanyahu, where he said yesterday in a talk that they were going to exact the full price from the murders, and a ground incursion would start soon. And their idea is to eliminate Hamas, which sounds very deadly and grim. There are reports that Gaza hospitals are running at 1/3 of staff levels. 6,546 have been killed, 17,400 wounded in Gaza, whereas the Israelis have lost 1,700 people and 5,400 people have been injured. What is the church's response to this kind of war going on?
Yeah, Mr. Franklin, those are grim statistics, and that's why Pope Francis has really been emphasizing the call to peace and justice. And in fact, Pope Francis, our Holy Father, said recently that war does not solve any problems. Pope Francis goes on to say, war only sows death and destruction. It increases hatred, multiplies revenge. War erases the future. It erases the future. And those are powerful words and timely words of Pope Francis, given what's escalating and tensions mounting, certainly in the Middle East and in other places too. But this is not something new too for the Catholic Church. Pope Francis, previous popes, even going back to 1965, for instance, Pope Paul VI was the first pope to address the United Nations. And there, prophetically, Pope Paul VI said too, no more war.
Sure.
No more war.
Yeah. Speaking of the Catholic Church and some of the response, there's a church in Gaza City, the Church of Porphyrius, an Orthodox church in Gaza City that's been sheltering people, Muslim, Christian alike, for decades, if not centuries, during all of the bloodshed that happens here. 400 people were sheltered there. It was bombed over the weekend. 18 people were killed. The response in the Holy Land was churches were memorializing these people that were there. Justin Amash, one of the former U.S. representatives from Michigan, and one of my personal heroes, his family is Palestinian, and he lost several members of his family in that attack. It shows, I think you were saying, it shows how much love that the Catholic Church has, or the church in general has for people.
The Christian church, the body of Christ, we would say, just the church polity, we care about people and we follow Christ and his command and his message, and that's really in the midst of a hostile and dangerous and deadly environment. Here is a Greek Orthodox church coming together in the community there, and as you mentioned, Mr. Franklin, sheltering Muslims and Christians, anyone and everyone, all are welcome. And that's what church stands for. When we're at our best, that's the ideal of any church entity, that is. It's to bridge, to be a bridge, to bring people together, and to be a sign of hope and unity for the human family.
Absolutely. One of the from that region, a man that lost his sister-in-law says, quote, that the people that are hopeless, and this is our way of living, it's all tragedies all the time. And just to think about that. What, as a student at Carmel or as a faculty member of Carmel, we're called to do something here. What are we doing tomorrow?
Yeah, and that's the sense that even though we're thousands of miles away, it's still that idea in the gospel sense of solidarity.
Sure.
And in our understanding of, we're a human family, and these are our sisters and brothers, and we want to make sure that we can do something to this extent that we can. And one thing we can do anywhere is to pray. And so Pope Francis has has called for a World Day of Prayer tomorrow, Friday, October 27th. And it's really cool that Pope Francis is speaking not just to Catholics, certainly not, and not just to Christians.
Sure.
Pope Francis is clear. This is for all people of goodwill. And Pope Francis has said before too, even for instance, if you're a non-believer, that's okay. Please just send good wishes.
Sure.
Send good wishes that way, as we are people of goodwill that want peace and justice everywhere. So one thing that Pope Francis is calling for is that tomorrow, Friday, be that day of intentional prayer. We've done one already. Tomorrow is another day of prayer, just to be intentional about what's going on around us in the world. And in the Archdiocese of Chicago, Cardinal Cupich has also certainly supported Pope Francis's call and has asked that parishes and communities in the Archdiocese of Chicago really offer Mass for the preservation of peace and justice in times of war and civil disturbance. So fitting prayers that are appropriate to this situation in the world. And here at Carmel, Father Carci, our awesome partner at the Mundelein Seminary, he's the rector-president there. Father Carci will be here at Carmel Catholic High School to offer our daily morning Mass at 7:15 a.m. tomorrow morning before school starts in our Bransma Chapel, and Father Carci will lead us in prayer for peace and justice.
And we'll end on that. I encourage everyone to go out and watch that, or go to Mass tomorrow morning at 7:15. We'll be right back with the student section.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's game day, baby! It's game day! It's game day! It's game day! It's game day, and for a special occasion, today is the Girls Volleyball Regional Championship. It's at 6 o'clock here, and the theme is Gold Rush. And guess what? We get in for free if you show an ID or a name tag. Isn't that right?
That's right. Thank you to the Carmel family that's going to pay for all the students to get in for free tonight. Awesome. Student section, who's been coming all year long. Love you guys. Thank you so much. But tonight, big night, regional championship. We need as many people as we can get in the gym. Got to be loud.
That's right.
Let's get that plaque, y'all. Let's get the plaque.
Let's go.
And then on. Oh,
Sorry, Mrs. Gilly is going to be down there early so you can get a wristband and get in early. Be there by 5:40 for warm-ups so we can get that gym loud early.
Yep. Let's go. Let's show out for volleyball. And now on to football. So football tomorrow starts at 7, if I'm not mistaken. And the theme is going to be PJ, so show up, show out. And you do have to pay for tickets for this one. So just make sure that you're there, you buy your ticket, and there still will be a tailgate, and there still will be the Corsair walks. Make sure you show up. Let's show up to all that. Let's support our football team for the state playoff. Let's go.
Let's go.
Show out.
Let's, yeah.
Game day.
Game day.
Let's go. Let's go.
Game day. Game day.
you, Mr. Paisley and student section. There will be an informational meeting for all men and women interested in wrestling this year. The meeting will be held in room 105 at 3:15 on October 30th. It will take approximately 30 minutes. The team needs wrestlers of all ages and weights. Give it a try. You won't regret it. Also in room 105 is information for younger siblings in grades 1 through 8 who are interested in joining the Cutlass Wrestling Club at Carmel. The Carmel Catholic Wrestling team is in need of statisticians for the upcoming season. No experience needed. Stop by room 105 if you are interested. That's all we have for today. I'm Bridget Call. Have a terrific Tuesday, Carmel.